Hi, welcome to Stargazing Seamstress Studio. Today we will cover my newly released pattern, the Dollhouse collection. I will be sewing a mermaid pad with exposed core 10-inch mermaid pad. First you will trim away on the line where it says on the pattern. One, and that's the bottom. You trim the top as well. Now you will tape those two, top and bottom, to the wings. I will do that with some glue stick. Tape it on the line, matching the stars. I need to tell you, this pattern is great as just one size can give you multiple options of different styles. You can have two tops or two bottoms on either side of the wings. You can mix and match in the collection. There is 7 different shapes, so plenty of choice to go creative. I have printed 2 of those. So I have the core, the exposed core, and the backer. Okay. Once again, tape it to the wings, on the line, matching the stars. And now you will cut one pattern on the dotted line, that will be your core, exposed core, and one pattern on the solid line. Those are your sewing lines. This pattern does not include seam allowance, because with those fancy shapes it's better not to have seam allowance, to have very precise shape. I will pause for now, just to cut out the pattern, not to take so much time. Once you cut out your patterns, take the fabric that you will be using. These 2 are for the backer, a water repelling fleece and a super soft bamboo velour. So nice. Okay, take both of them. Place right sides together. I'm doing this speedy way. You can cut one and then cut the other. But to save some time, I will cut both of them at the same time. You only need to cut a rough shape around them. Make sure there is enough fabric around your shape to cover the seam allowance. So my fabric ends in a bit here, about here, so there is enough gap around the pattern for the seam allowance, so we can sew it more easily. Take your rotary blade or scissors, whatever you prefer using, and trim. could go closer to the pattern, like in this spaces here or there. I don't have time for that right now. Okay, that's your back hair. It's already right sides together, fleece and bamboo velour. Now I am going to trace my shape. Since this will be exposed core, I will not leave the opening turning hole here, as we will be cutting through the topper. I will show you later on. Take a fine liner like that. Those two are Crayola washable markers. One is a bit thicker, one is a bit thinner. I don't have any other at the moment, but important is to have a thin, clear line you can follow with your sewing machine. So I'll trace that shape on the fabric. Those pens are super nice, they wash away so easily and they are very cheap. Not like the dressmaking pens that are quite expensive and sometimes they run out so quickly on you. And much better than the chalk. Much clearer, you get much clearer line. Hope you can see my sewing line. That's my sewing line. I will quickly pin both fabrics together, ready for sewing. Use as many pins as you feel comfortable with. If you are using pull, pin outside your sewing line so you will not damage the pull, and use ballpoint pins if you have. Okay, the back hair is now ready to sew. Now we will move on to expose core. This time I will cut them separately, the pieces, because I would want to have a nice placement on this super cute bamboo velour that I have dyed. Is in a shape of a mermaid there, if you can recognize. I hope you can. Now I would like to place it somewhere here. That's the best clearance I can get. Let's check if this will work. Okay, this is working. Please remind me to buy more of those Crayola markers. I have 2 colors left and they are very light colors, which are not ideal for this job. Much prefer darker colors so it's easily seen. Okay, trim around. There's your topper fabric. Now I will take some absorbent bamboo fleece. the right side together and trim around. There we go. That would be a light pad. However, I want to make a moderate pad. So I will add a little booster of Zorb. Zorb is super absorbent. I really like it. It's so quick in absorbing liquid. Now I don't want to go a shape crazy with Zorb, so I will only add a square booster that will fit within the core, which will be 1.5 inches by 6.5. It would be very nice for that 10-inch pad. One and a half inch by 6.5. Here we go. That's my booster, and this I will place in here. Let's make sure it's in the correct place. Center that, pin it, and sew around. Turn on your sewing machine. Turn on. Hello. Here we go. Okay. We're gonna sew on the booster first. Choose a wide 3-step zigzag that would cover nicely the edges of your booster, so they less likely to unravel and make a mess inside while the pad is washing. Make it a wide one. I'm setting for a wide 6.0 and the length 1.4. And just sew it around. When I come close to the corner, instead of stopping and pivoting, because it's a core inside layer, it's not visible, the stitching is not visible, I like to press down on the fabric and pivot it, like twist it, so I don't need to stop sewing and is going on a smooth curve. Twist and twist again. Cut. Here we go. The booster is set on the absorbent fabric. Now set your machine to straight stitch, 2.5 length of the stitch, and we will be sewing along the trace lines, sewing lines of the backer, all around, not leaving any turning hole. You can go slowly on the curvy shapes around the arms, around the wings. Stop at the sharp corners, lift your foot, turn, press the foot down and carry on sewing. Another sharp corner, foot up, carry on sewing. Another sharp corner, foot up, down, carry on. Sharp corner up, twist, down, sew. Sharp corner of a tail, up, down, sew. A little feature here that is sharp. Another one. And finish with a back stitch overlapping your starting point. Here we go, that's the backer. I will show you later how to turn it. Now you will pin together the core piece with the topper of the core. Feel your booster so it's within your sewing line. You can feel it under the fabric here. Need to move this one slightly. Okay. Alright, that's about here and there. Yeah. Maybe a bit up. Here. Okay. Sometimes if you pull too much straight, your fabric will stretch, especially the bamboo velour. So don't pull it too much around. Check your shape, still the same shape. Now pin around. You will have to leave a small opening on the straightest line. I like to choose one that's about here, or you can even go the middle. Here is the straightest. That will be your turning hole. Okay, start from one side of your turning hole and follow along the line until the next one. Back stitch, sew around. Here is my turning hole ending. Alright, you got your turning hole here. Now we will trim the shapes. If you don't have a pinking shears, don't worry, just trim around about 0.5 centimeters around, and then notch as is shown on the pattern. You got a handy tutorial within the pattern. Is got all the notches and clips where you should and how you should do it. I like the pinking shears because they are quick and easy way to trim around the pad. Oh, I completely forgot. To have your turning hole very nice and clear without stitches showing, you will start from the seam allowance, slightly here, to your sewing line, and then carry on the sewing line. I will show you what I mean. Always forget to do that. Can you see this little tab here? Yeah, that makes the turning hole so much smoother. Okay, and clip in the corners. I think this one will be, and across the top. Just like here. When you clip, you are allowing the fabric to fall nicely when it's time to turn the pad. Now trimming the backer. I have trimmed around the backer. Now I will clip in the sharp corners. Make sure not to cut your sewing line. And trim off the corners here, the pointy corners, reducing bulk and giving you a nice sharp corner. Okay, to turn the backer, you will make a small hole. You'll make a small hole. Make sure the two fabrics are separated and snip into here. Snip into the topper fabric. Do not cut the backer backer of the base. Here we go. That's big enough hole. Turn your pad through that hole. Use a bamboo stick or any non-sharp long object and thin, long and thin object to poke all the seam and all the little features out. Poking, poking, poking. Don't go too hard on it if you are very strong, because you will break the stitches. Okay. One more. It's arm. It's your base. Nicely turned. I will press it in a moment. And a core. Turn it through the turning hole. Poke around a bit. Okay. Hide the seam allowance. Can you see your turning hole is almost invisible because you treated the seam allowance with a little tab of your stitches going out. So here we go. I am going to press this now. When pressing fabric that are not 100% cotton like this bamboo velour, you definitely need to use a pressing cloth. I've got here a muslin cloth that I will lay on the top. Smooth my shapes nicely so there's no wrinkles there. Make sure every little bit is out. When your iron is ready, press and steam. Okay, don't move your iron about, just press. Here they are, nice and pressed. Now you have your fabric pressed. You will pin the core, exposed core, to your backer. Make sure you center it nicely and pin. Since this is a fleece backer, I can pin through the middle. I will not do that if it was a pull fabric. I will perhaps use a washable glue to make sure it stays put, or a spray glue. I never use a spray glue, to be honest. A washable glue stick could be just as good as a basting spray. Sometimes the basting sprays are tricky and they're not really washing off the fabric. So use a safe alternative when you can. Okay, now set your stitches to 3 and sew around the shape here. Your turning hole is in, tucked in. You will close that while you sew along the core. Back stitch where you finish. Here we are. I don't need to really top stitch around the back if you don't want to. Pressing is good enough. Here is the back. Now we will add the snaps. You can use the guides that are here, or precise way of doing snaps will be overlapping wings and placing the snaps. Got here matching snaps, male. I like to put the male snaps on the right hand side with the male bit towards on the fleece on the back side, backing side. Okay, press strong. Maybe a bit more. Okay. Now need to swap the bits to do the other snap, female snap. Okay, so I did this one, and now you could have either that setting or this setting. The way I like to do it is overlap and see where best, how best it lays like this. It lays flat. That's my preferred width. You could move slightly to make it wider. You could put snaps on the edges, so the pad is snapping at 3 inches wide, but my preferred width is 2.5 inches. So exactly how this core snaps around here. That is 2.5. Place my snap here. And now the female part will be on the right side of the fabric with the bamboo velour. Okay. Snap it. And here we are. A little mermaid pad. Trim your little threads from the top stitching here. Hey presto! Exposed core mermaid pad. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe and follow my Facebook group, Stargazing Seamstress. Bye!